Hello YouTube, I'm back. What up? And we got some new cards to talk about. And yeah, let's get into it. We have some at Ignister support. It's first up is a normal spell card. Activate one of this card's name per turn. Target an Ignister in monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Monster reborn. Good. If an Ignister monster you control with 2300 or more attack would be destroyed by a card effect, you banish this card from your graveyard. So it's a return from the Dragonlord. Once again, very good. If this card becomes banished, you can activate this effect. Your ad Ignister monster 2300 more attack cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. So not only does it protect, it protects them once by card effect. If they try to pop your Ignisters with 2300 or more, and then after that happens, because this card became banished, you get to protect all by battle, so they can't even attack over it. That's actually really, really good. It's like their own Return of the Dragon Lords. Very, very good card. They'll probably you should probably play it as a 3F. I don't play Adignisters. I haven't really played against them, but I mean, Monster Reborn plus protection. I don't see a downside here, and it's a spell card. And then their second card, which is second last for now, is a trap card called I-Show, which is a normal trap. When your opponent monster declares an attack, if you control a Link 3 or higher Ignister monster in the extra monster zone, special summon any number of non-Link Cybers with 2300 from your extra deck whose attack equal or less than the attacking monster's attack, and then in the battle phase. That's pretty wild. I don't know how relevant that's going to be, but that effect is pretty wild nonetheless. But we have a lot of cards to talk about, so I'm not going to dwell on these cards too long. Um, uh, if you have any deck or deck lists or replays and you want to show me this card go off particular, I would love to see that because that sounds hilarious or possibly really broken. So next up, the Kuriboh brothers are finally getting a it's finally getting a freaking what's it called? They're finally releasing them. So the Kuriboh brothers, and this is something I do remember, was from the Waking the Dragons anime arc, and they all combined to make Curry Bandit, which we got in a different card. But with these, maybe Kuriboh will be finally like a full-fledged archetype, rather than it being kind of like they have a little bit of synergy by stopping your opponent from killing you and then summoning themselves that way. But let's see what they do. So Kuribah, level 1 Dark Fiend effect with 300 attack, 200 defense. So same stats as Kuriboh all around. It's always treated as a Kuriboh card, and its first name effect is a hard once per turn. When this card or a Kuriboh monster you control is destroyed by battle, special summon one monster with 300 attack, 200 defense from your deck, except for another copy of itself. So it's the floater. 4, you contribute this card you control plus 4 monsters from your hand and or field, one of each being Kuribee, Kuriboh, or Kuriboo, Kuribeh, and Kuriboh, and special summon one Kuribabylon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So they are trying to make this into an archetype, and that's pretty sweet. So when these cards come out in YGO Pro, I have played a Kuriboh deck in the past. It was a Chaos Kuriboh deck with BLS and stuff like that, because there's light and dark Kuriboh cards. This card is very, definitely a staple that you're going to throw in Kuribohs. I mean, the bar is pretty low, to be honest. But, nonetheless, cool. Next up, Kuribee. Same stats as all the Kuribohs, so I'm gonna skip the stats. Level 1 Dark Fiend, 300 attack, 200 defense. I'm gonna skip that from here on out. But it's always treated as a Kuriboh card. When this card or Kuriboh is destroyed by battle, you can special summon, or your Kuriboh monster is destroyed by battle. You can add a spell or trap that specifically lists Kuriboh in its text from your deck to your hand. That's pretty good. That gets you multiply. That's the one that comes to mind. I'm sure there's more. That's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. But Second effect is once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack, if you control another Kuriboh, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters you currently control to 0 till the end phase, and if you do, you negate that attack. So it protects your monsters even more. That's pretty cool. So far, there isn't a lot of ways to summon these out, but that's okay. So far, it's not been. These cards have been okay. The other Kuribohs can kind of summon themselves out and stuff like that. And yeah, definitely cool. Next up, Kuriboo. It's a little ghost. It's the cutest one so far, in my opinion, in the artwork. So, when your opponent's monster declares attack, you can discard this card, add a Kuriboh monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself. Once per turn, quick effect, you can discard one trap. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1500 attack until the end phase. First effect, great. Second effect, makes you want to play trap cards. I don't know how relevant that is, since the Kuribohs kind of want to just keep, discarding and stuff and get in the grave that way. So far, the only way I see this deck really getting a lot of monsters out is with, I think it was Rebirth or Kuriboh, the one that's like a mass soul charge. When they declare direct attack, you summon all the Kuriboh monsters and everything. That's about it. But this card, it's also fine. It's your searcher, and yeah, that's about it. So this whole deck requires your opponent to attack you and stuff like that, which is fine. That's kind of Kuriboh's thing. None of these things target. They can be called by the haunt. They can be called by the grave, and this card can be ashed. But other than that, it's not really too bad of things. Kuribee. Its first effect is a quick effect. You can discard this card, target one Kuriboo monster you control. It gains 1500 attack. You contribute this card plus 4 monsters from your hand and or field. One of each of Kuribah, Kuribee, Kuriboo, and Kuribah. Add one Kuribandit from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and immediately you can normal summon one fiend. Okay. It gets you Kuribandit. This card was what he used to make Kuribandit in the anime. That means that this one was what he used to make Babylon. And speaking of Kuribabylon, we got next up Kuribabylon, level 5 Dark Fiend effect monster. Its first and third effects can only be used once each that turn. Okay, so you can only use the first or third effect. You can't use both. If your opponent has more monsters in your graveyard, if you have more monsters in your graveyard than your opponent does, you can special summon this card from your hand. So you don't need the other cards. That's great. Second effect. Gains 300 for each Kuriboh monster you control and in the graveyard. So, if you use the effect to summon it by tributing 5, it's a 3000 attacker. During your main or battle, you can return this card to your hand if you use special summon one of each. That's pretty cool. So you get all 5 of the Kuriboh brothers. That's pretty wild, honestly. Like, I think that this deck seems really funny. I don't know how good it is, but it's really funny that you're just like, haha, look at all my Kuribohs. Definitely can't wait to try this deck out. This deck looks funny. I probably am going to lose a lot with it, but I definitely am going to have a blast doing it at least. And that's all that matters. Twilight, 5-star Twilight. It's a normal spell card. You can only activate one card per turn. If the only monster you control is a level 5, you contribute it to special summon one of each from your hand, deck, and or graveyard, but they cannot be tributed for tribute summon. So this is kind of the reverse thing. If you get this out by its own effect, its first effect, you can play this and you can throw out all of the Kuribohs and everything right here and be like, haha, that's pretty funny. I kind of like that they have ways to summon Kuribabylon as the boss monster. They don't have to summon Kuribabylon as a boss monster itself, but you can. And then they have a way to deconstruct itself. So if you have more monsters in your graveyard, maybe you I don't know how you're gonna do that without your opponent, wombo comboing off, since they're gonna leak and XEs and all that, unless, play more casual. But if you summon this, via its first effect, you can play your 5-star Twilight, and then deconstruct it and get the other Kuribos. All 1, 2, 3, 4, and the original, the one being number 5. So yeah, definitely excited for the Kuriboh archetype to finally become a real thing. Next up, I kind of skimmed over these, but this is Dragonroid, and it's Cyberdark support kind of. I say that, but really it's meant for Cyrus, because Cyrus in the anime gets Zane's cards, and Dragonroid is kind of the thing that kind of pairs it up. So it's a level 8 wind machine effect. You can discard this card, activate one of the following effects. First, add a non-wind Roid monster from your deck to your hand. So it can't get the wind Roids, or the speed Roids, but it gets your other, and it can't get itself, but it gets your other Roid monsters that Cyrus used in the anime. Second, this card's activation, the activation of cards and effects that includes a fusion summon. Cannot be negated, else your opponent cannot activate cards when a fusion summons. Okay, so it either protects you from fusion summoning or your fusion summon, or it adds one of your Roid monsters. Definitely, if you like the Roid archetype, not the Speed Roid one, the Cyrus non-wind Roids, you should be playing 3 of this card once it comes out. And the second effect is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can make it become a dragon monster until the end of this turn. Like I said, that's meant for the Cyber Darks and stuff like that, since Cyrus ended up getting Zane's deck and mixed it with his own later in the anime and the season we never got. Next up, Declaration of Rebirth. It's a continuous draft card. Once per turn, you can declare one type. All monsters in graveyards become that type until the end of the turn. This is just for the Cyberdarks. I think Cyrus used it again. I don't think it's a very good card. You should build your decks in mind without having to need this. This can be a bit of disruption. Most archetypes don't have the whole, it requires you to have all beasts or something like that in your thing, but some do, and if that is the case, this card can be a good side deck freaking choice for him to wreck those decks. But overall, I don't think this is a very good card. Anyway, tell me what you're most excited about. Personally, I am most excited about the Kuribos. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment telling me what you liked about it, or, just telling me about your day. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. And if you want to send me cool deck profiles or replays on any of these archetypes, or any archetypes or gameplay in general that you like and you're pretty happy with, go ahead and send them to my email. It's in my description. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.